My guest today on the Plant Strong podcast may be young in age, but they are wise beyond their youthful years. At age 26, identical twins, Nina and Randa Nelson, are key forces in the Plant Strong movement, and they have true hearts of heroes. They have been vegan since birth thanks to the upbringing of their spectacular parents who are close and dear friends of mine, Jeff and Sabrina Nelson. And as a family, they have always been outspoken advocates and champions of this lifestyle. In their early 20s, however, as Nina and Randa were pursuing careers in the entertainment industry in LA, both were struck with debilitating and crippling acne that left them severely depressed, confused, a little bit suicidal, and out of work. Well, if necessity is the mother of invention, then Randa and Nina are living proof that you must take charge and be your own health advocates, not wanting to settle for traditional antibiotics and powerful medicines that have awful, terrible side effects. Nina and Randa refined their already vegan diet even more to remove excessive fats, oils, and toxins. Within days, their acne started to clear dramatically, and in fact, you're not going to believe these before and after photos. A picture truly, in this case, says 1,000 words. You will be shocked. In 2018, they released the Clear Skin Diet book, and they have also very recently released their own skincare product line. Today, I talk with them about how they've navigated such a difficult period in their lives and the 6 guiding principles from their book that turn their life from a living nightmare to a dream come true. Welcome the energetic and lively Nina and Randa Nelson. I'm just trying to think. I think the first time I met you guys, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier today, was when you were either 13 or 15. Not sure which. And how old are you today?
26.
26.
Yeah.
So it's been well over 11 years. And this was when your father was throwing his Veg Source conferences.
Yes.
With John McDougall and Dr. Furman and my father.
Yes.
And, he was just doing amazing. Jeff Novick.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys were kind of the volunteers to help Jeff Novick during his cooking demonstration.
The fast food twins.
That's when we learned how to cook.
Yeah.
At 15. It stuck.
You guys wrote a book called The Clear Skin Diet, and it's based upon your personal journey with some pretty severe acne.
Yeah.
That became very debilitating. So what I'd like to do in this episode is talk about that journey, talk about where you've landed today, and what other people that are suffering from acne can do in regards to your program, starting with food and then, everything else that you guys have discovered. Because I can tell you that I know when I was a teenager, when I was in high school, when I was in college, and I would get one pimple on the end of my nose or on my cheek or on my chin, I would hide in my room.
Imagine all over. Literally, it was inescapable, the amount of acne we had on our face. It felt like it was crawling in your face. That's how much acne it was.
Yeah. No, a photo or a picture is worth 1,000 words, and we will post this on the Instagram account so people can see the before and afters. But so can you walk me through the journey? Because you guys were, all vegan since you were born, right?
Yep.
Because of your parents, your wonderful, amazing parent, Jeff and Sabrina.
The best.
The best ever. But when did this acne first start, and how did that happen?
You want to take it, Randa?
How old were we? It first started when we were 20, I would say.
We were older. I feel like we kind of went through puberty a bit later, and maybe we'd have the occasional zit in high school, but the normal amount. And then all of a sudden...
Now, I think it's important, and I didn't frame this up correctly, that people know that you guys are not only twins.
Yes.
You're identical twins.
Yes. So we do everything together. We even get severe cystic acne.
We like
together.
the same boys. We get the same acne.
It's horrible.
Yeah. And so literally at 20, you both started getting it within the same couple days or no?
Actually, what I think was a big starter, not only the hormones and kind of our age and point of development, but also we actually started switching up our skincare products because we thought it was something with jojoba oil in it.
Yeah,
we're
we wanted to be more
this
natural.
is more natural. Like, we're just going to use this skincare product. And that's actually when my skin started breaking out at the worst. And because I think it got to a point where the breakouts were bad, I went to the doctor and
we got antibiotics.
We got antibiotics basically to treat the skin. And it kept coming back even worse and worse every month. So what would happen is the acne would clear up because of the antibiotics, but then it would always come back worse. And we were eating like what we thought like a healthy vegan diet, but with like extra added fat.
So our parents, this is Nina, our parents went out of town and we got really, really sick. And I remember we sent photos of our acne to our mom, and my mom was like kind of freaking out in Hawaii. She told us later. But anyway, so we weren't really feeding ourselves. Our brother would make us food because we were just like in our bunk beds, like 20 years old, like in our bunk beds.
Yeah.
And our brother was just making us peanut butter toast, and our acne was getting worse and worse and worse. And we didn't realize that like higher fat foods is what's contributing to those breakouts. So that went on for like over 6 months.
Yeah, maybe 9 months. So
6 months on and off antibiotics.
Right. And here's the thing. So you're 20, you get this horrendous, outbreak for 6 months, and you guys were models, you were singers, you were in commercials.
So what would happen was we would get the antibiotics, the skin would clear up, and then we'd book a commercial.
Exactly.
It'd be like, oh, cool, the acne's gone, we're working again. But then what happened when the acne, when the antibiotics stopped working is we stopped booking jobs.
And the acne would come back worse every single time.
So we had a band. We didn't want to perform anymore because we were too embarrassed. We didn't want to go on auditions because the casting directors, we just felt like we were like a joke in there. Like that they were like, okay, like let's get them out of here because they have acne. Like they're obviously not going to get the job.
And I remember on our way back from American Idol, because they flew us out, like that was when my acne was at its all-time worst. And we were out of town, so we were eating like just more junky food because that was what was available. And I think that definitely contributed to making the breakouts even worse. And I just remember getting home and being like, I just feel so depressed. Like there's no way, like I can't try to be in show business with a condition like this, I just felt hopeless
and embarrassed.
Yeah. And I remember I actually had to go out on an audition with that acne. And I just remember like not even wanting to look at the casting director in the eye. And it was just like, they were just kind of like, okay, next, like basically, what are you doing here? And I just remember walking out with my head down, like looking at the ground, like I never want to go into another audition. Then we kept going back to the dermatologist, and they're saying there really is, nothing they could really do. And they were like, okay, well, we'll get you to the specialist at UCLA. And we're like, great. Like, we're going to see like an acne specialist, like top of the line. We get there and we walk in and they hand us this big
5
packet
seconds
of Accutane, of like, okay, here's a big packet. Read all of, you need to go on birth control, blood tests, get like psychiatric evaluation.
You have to go on birth control when you take Accutane?
Oh yeah.
If you don't go on birth control, they want you to claim abstinence because
pledge abstinence.
You have a baby while on Accutane, it could do severe damage to the baby, cause birth defects and all that.
Yep.
But they also, a lot of people, it affects their mental health, and they make you get blood tests every month. They like have you talk to a therapist or a psychiatrist because it's really a heavy duty drug. Mm-hmm. And so we were just like, I was just thinking, well, I guess I have to go on Accutane. I mean, that's what everybody does.
But I didn't want to do that because I had some friends as well that, it cleared up their skin great, but then their hair fell out. And I was like, imagine having acne and your hair is falling out. I was like,
no, not good for an actress.
Right. No. Or for anyone.
But
really.
Well, sure.
Yeah. Because I always had the thought like, oh, but, I'm eating so healthy, and like if something is wrong, like there must be some underlying problem.
That was what was so embarrassing as well, is that when people at the pharmacy would see us coming to get drugs for our acne, they'd like antibiotics and stuff, they'd be like, oh yeah, acne is caused by eating junk food. And I'm like, I don't eat junk food. I'm vegan. So I feel like that was an added embarrassment as well, because I wanted to be an example of health, but I didn't look like I didn't look like that with all that acne on my face.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, all right. So you go to UCLA, see this expert, and he basically says Accutane.
Yeah.
And you're like, we can't do that. We're not going to do that.
Well,
or
I
you did do
remember
it.
having a split thought of like, okay, well, this is what I have to do, because it just kept getting worse. I was like, what else? What other option? But then I was also like a bigger part of the voice in my head was like, no, like why should you have to take a drug to just be, not have acne?
I remember saying, well, mom had an autoimmune disease because I don't know if these people know, but our mom had an autoimmune disease. By changing her diet, she went to remission because she read a John McDougall book. And I said, if John McDougall helped mom get off drugs and cure her, he's going to do the same for me. So I was never going to take the drugs.
No, I don't think I was never actually going to take it, but I was like, really? Is this what I have to do to not have acne?
So let's just pause for a second and visit that, because your mom was diagnosed with a very rare autoimmune disease, right?
Yes, it's in the lupus family, but even more rare.
It's called relapsing polychondritis.
Right. And John McDougall, basically with a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet, right?
Not even low fat, just getting rid of dairy and meat.
Okay.
It's still lower fat though.
Yeah.
Was able to help your mom out tremendously, right?
She's in remission.
Right. And so everybody's kind of up to speed.
Yeah.
So you went back to John McDougall.
Right.
And did you schedule an appointment with John, or what happened?
No. So actually this is like when our acne was at its all-time worst yet again. Close to the UCLA specialist. We're visiting my grandparents.
So when you have that much acne, does your face just hurt?
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
It's unbearable. It's like if something emotionally would bother me, like if I was to just, I don't know, like hear a weird comment or like just like see something weird, like I would feel things like crawling in my face. Like it was so uncomfortable.
Not only that, it hurts and it's annoying when you sleep, but it's also itchy.
Yeah.
Too. It's a mixture of itchiness and pain.
And I think one, because the acne is irritated, and two, you're trying to like put on products to kind of like make it feel like it's going to go away, when it's like the topical wasn't going to fix that. It was something from the inside.
So what was the absolute lowest point in this for you guys?
The lowest point was when I came into my parents' office and I was like, I feel like Robin Williams, because he had just committed suicide a few days earlier. And I remember like saying my whole life when I learned what suicide was, I was like, why would anyone do that? That doesn't make sense. Like, life is so good. And that was like the first time that I understood. I was like, I don't want to be here like living my life like this, because I was depressed for so long. And I thought, if I have to live my life like this, with this on my face, I just don't want to.
Right.
So that was the lowest point for sure.
So basically suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really weird for me. Like I didn't grow up
right
depressed or feeling suicidal. Even with breakups, I was still pretty good. Not that some people get like depressed from that kind of stuff, but I'm saying like I don't know, things like kind of like melted off easily.
Yeah.
And that was like not normal for me.
Well, and that seems, from what I know of you two, like your dispositions, you're kind of rays of sunshine and,
That's
just beautiful, loving women.
Aww.
It's true. So that was the low point for you. What about for you?
I just remember for me, just
Randa.
Yeah. I don't ever remember feeling like that specifically, like maybe as low
I
as
had
Nina.
it worse.
Nina definitely had it worse.
And for longer.
And for a bit longer. But I just remember like feeling like hopeless. Like, when can I start to live my life is what I felt like. I was like waiting to live my life. Like, when can I go on dates? When can I go out and hang out with my friends, or like go to the gym, just do anything in life? And I just felt like I couldn't, because I felt so much shame.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I wish I didn't feel like that much shame, because it wasn't my fault, you know?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's no place to run and hide when you've got that kind of acne all over your face. And
No makeup will cover that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you go see John McDougall, or you had an appointment with John, right?
No,
actually,
Okay. Well,
we should have.
what in the world happened?
yeah.
Okay. We were going up to visit our grandparents, and all we're talking about is our skin because we want to get our lives back. And my dad was like, why don't you pull up John McDougall's website, see if he has anything on acne? And
I remember thinking, like, no way, he's not going to have anything on acne.
Dad
like,
knew, though.
He must.
He knew. And so we pull up the article, and there's this small thing that says that there are countries in the world. Cultures in the world, and they don't get acne, and they eat a low-fat, plant-centered diet.
And by eliminating all oils, even healthy fats like avocados, nuts, soy, seeds,
that you won't get acne. I was like, wow.
I was like, seriously? Like, that's it? Like,
So like Papua New Guinea.
yes.
Right.
Okinawa.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're also the
Central.
longest living cultures in the world. So basically the blue zones, they don't get acne. They live the longest. And at this point, we had done low glycemic vegan.
That's what was online, of the low glycemic, the low carb, and we had tried that.
So we did that, and I remember crying so much because all I was eating was quinoa and avocado, and my skin didn't even clear up, and I just felt horrible because imagine being vegan, not able to eat fruit.
Right.
That's pretty bad.
So you're doing quinoa and avocado because you're doing this low glycemic
Yeah.
and okay.
So then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can eat
I was like,
potatoes and rice. And
like,
I could do that. That's easy. I already eat that. Just eliminate the avocado and the peanut butter. That's fine. I won't miss that. And literally within 3 days, for the first time, both of us, our skin wasn't actually worse.
Yeah.
It was, oh, it's shrinking down. It's getting better. My face doesn't feel as oily.
Right.
And so then
like right away, it was like really instant.
within the day.
Yeah. And I remember, like, as the couple weeks would go by, because in the past, like, the antibiotics would make the acne go away, but I always had this, like, anticipation of, oh no, when's the acne gonna come back? And I remember, like, continuing to eat this way.
I didn't think it was going to come back.
I was worried, like, oh no, what if it comes back? Like, this seems too good to be true, but it just never did. It just kept getting better.
Yeah. And then after a month, it was, like, really just hyperpigmentation. Like, yeah, like way noticeably different. I remember we started seeing our friends again. They're like, what did you do? Like, your skin's so good.
And the only difference was, for the most part,
Diet.
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I want to read, this is a quote in your book, and it's actually how the whole book starts out. And it's, there is no single disease which causes more psychic trauma, more maladjustment between parents and children, more general insecurity and feelings of inferiority, and greater sums of psychic suffering than does acne vulgaris. So you guys lived through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This isn't just a couple pimples.
And
you
the
know?
thing is, if I would have heard that, I would have been like, oh, it's just acne. Like, what's the big deal? But it's like, when you're actually living it, it's like, it's everything. It's like obviously looks aren't everything, but if it affects your ability to, like, want to see your friends and work, then it is everything, you know?
So the book,
Mm-hmm.
When you wrote the book, you guys did a pilot study
Yeah.
to show the efficacy of
that was your idea.
of this program. And how much did you learn doing the pilot study? I mean, do you feel like, because I know when I did mine for Engine 2,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe that I was going to write a book without the pilot study, but I decided to do the pilot study, and I had 62 people.
Yeah.
And it just gave me, after, all the drops in cholesterol, the weight loss, all these things, it gave me so much confidence
For sure.
in the program.
Yeah.
Right.
So did you guys and then I had all these success stories that I could share in the book,
Yeah.
and it just gave the book life.
Yeah.
So,
I think for us it was cool because we would have these weekly meetings, and to be able to see that people felt the same way and to be able to be like, oh, like it's gonna get better, and kind of have this support group. I think that was what was most special.
But it
to
was
me.
cool to see people face to face seeing results, because we would read online on our YouTube channel, oh, it's working, but it's different when you have the face to face connection. It was really cool to see.
How many participants did you end up having?
Well, we opened it up to, we had people submit to a Facebook group, so we had, I think, over 100 participants. Yeah, of people online as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And the program, tell me a little bit about it. Like, how long was it? Was it 6 weeks?
It was 6 weeks. So the initial program we did, I held a sign at the local college with my skin at its worst, and I was like, "This is me."
Before and after.
And people would say, "What's the cream? What is it? I'm down," because it's a bunch of college
and we're like,
students.
"It's a free program." They're like, "It's free, like
it's
free food,
free program, free food. All you have to do is meet at this place every week." And and then so we got people to sign up, and we had how many people? Like 20
initially.
And so that's how we started it.
So my skin was clear for maybe a year or two, and when I went to Europe, I had actually switched my products and started using something that had oil in it, and I thought like maybe it's like the canned foods, maybe it's the pollution, and the acne was coming back. Granted, not as worse, but I was still like, I'm eating perfectly. Why is this happening? And that's when I discovered also on John McDougall's website, he says avoid all oil in the skincare products
and
makeup. And so then I was like, changed my skincare again and also cleared it up again. So we realized that was a key component to clearing up acne, and we incorporated that into the program.
And so so is that because you want your skin to breathe and you don't want to cover it up with any kind of like,
I think it's people with acne prone skin already have a lot of excess oil on their face. So when you have too much oil, your body's like, oh, there's something wrong here. And then your body attacks itself, and then it makes a pimple.
And so by avoiding all those foods that have overt oils and fat, you're not contributing to an excessive amount of
exactly,
I guess, oil in your pores and and everything like that.
And when you're already at a point in your life, especially like with the hormones, just the excess oil is what, or the excess fat in the diet just doesn't do well.
But then there's some people who changed their diet and they kept using like oily products, and then they maybe didn't see results, and we're like, okay, you got to get rid of the oils in your skincare too, and then that helped as well. But for whatever reason, you could use oils for 6 months on your face?
No, the thing is, it was like the other products I was using had a very minimal amount, but the one that I switched to, I won't name the brand name, but was like an acne based skincare, but it had like I don't know, some kernel oil, or I don't know, some not good oil, or mineral oil or something, and it just wreaked havoc on my face.
I bet you had no idea, because I know I didn't, that our pets' diets make up 25% of the United States meat consumption. And if American pets were their own country, they'd be the 5th largest consumer of meat in the world. This is not okay. Most pet food is poor quality, and the impact it's having on the world is simply unsustainable. Animal agriculture is estimated to contribute half of global greenhouse gas emissions. The team at Wild Earth avoids these impacts by sourcing nutrient-packed ingredients that don't come from animals. The number one ingredient in their dog food is yeast, a superfood that has more protein calorie for calorie than any form of meat. It's a win-win for your dog and for the planet. It takes 90% fewer resources to make a bag of Wild Earth clean protein dog food than your average brand name kibble. Try a bag today and save 40% off your order with the code PLANTSTRONG. Go to wildearth.com or Amazon. So, 6-week program, whole food, low fat,
yes,
plant-based, and let's just repeat for the audience. What are the foods that we are basically eliminating to allow our faces to really clear up? And let me say, and I got this figure from your book, that 80 to 95% of adolescents in the United States get acne. I mean, this is something that is, it is incredibly pervasive in this country.
Definitely. You see it every day when you're out and about.
Guideline number 1 is, and this is in complete alignment with my 7-day rescue guidelines, and actually almost every one of these is, but it's so funny to me. It's not funny. It's so beautiful to me how, whether it's my father's program for preventing and reversing heart disease, whether it is, Robbie Barbero's program for mastering diabetes, whether it's for the clear skin diet with the Nelson twins, it's a whole food, low fat, plant-based diet, right? But so let's dive in. So pillar number 1 is plants only. What does that mean?
Plants only. That means strong, plant-centered food. So that would be all vegetables, fruits, sweet potatoes, beans, rice, oats, basically foods that fill you up and make you feel good and are satisfying.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay. So guideline number 2 is unrefined starches.
Yes.
Should be the cornerstone of the diet.
Yeah.
Starches, cornerstone of the diet. What does that mean?
That means lots of sweet potatoes, rice, beans, tortillas, maybe in a burrito, just like all of the comfort foods, basically.
Fiber is key.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like these are the foods that are going to help satiate you.
Yeah.
And
people are just eating them wrong. They're putting the butter, they're putting the sour cream, they're putting it all this fatty food.
The potato.
So they get this bad rep when you take all the junk out of it. You're just left with like plants, and that's filling and satisfying and what we're supposed to eat.
Gotcha. Pillar number 3, avoid all oils.
Yes.
Okay.
So olive oil.
In unison, yes.
Even coconut oil. Everyone's like, what about coconut oil? Yes, it's not part of it. Saturated fat, no.
Okay.
So olive oil, just literally all fats.
I think it's not hard for people to cook without oil once they learn that. I think the more difficult part of that is for people, the more difficult hurdle is people eating out. Because a lot of restaurants love to load up on the oil because it's more fatty. And I think maybe that's a hard part. But if you cook on your own, it's easy.
Well, it's funny you say that because, earlier tonight we went to the new Whole Foods that's near here. And you guys are like, oh, you got to get the burrito. It's like $7. It's huge. It's the best deal going.
It is.
And so I basically let you guys order for me for the most part. And you went and you got this special rice that wasn't cooked in oil.
Yeah, we know what to do.
Because you knew that most of the other rices are cooked in oil. You knew which beans weren't cooked in oil.
Yeah. Yep.
And how do you just have to ask?
We just ask when we go to restaurants, because a lot of restaurants, especially if it's a higher end, they could maybe do oil free. But also if you just say, oh, it's an allergy, because for me, if I get like a rash or a breakout on my face, I consider that an allergy. So if you're just ordering out, just say it's an allergy, and they're usually pretty good about it.
And most restaurants always have something, whether it be rice or a steamed potato. Yeah, you might just have to specify, can you just make sure to not cook it in any oil or any butter or anything like that. But there's always an option, like steamed vegetables and rice. Boom.
Granted, maybe it's a little bit easier in LA. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
We're sheltered.
Well, that woman that was serving us was so sweet.
She was
really nice. And the way you did it, you're like, I can't do oils. I have an allergy to oils, something like that. And that was, anyway, it was cool seeing you guys in action.
We got it down.
But I think some people are embarrassed to be that person of like, oh, sorry, I can't eat this. But I
am that person though.
Whatever. Get over it.
I am that person. If it's what I want, I'm
like
paying.
Make Nina in public do it for
Randa
me.
never does it. It's always me. But that's not just with oil. That's with any confrontational. Randa makes me do it.
Yeah. All right. So no added oils. Doesn't matter if it's extra virgin olive oil, whether it's coconut oil, canola, safflower, walnut, flaxseed oil, no oil.
Yeah.
Right?
No oil. But we will say, this is just for the time. obviously we're not promoting like oils or like higher fat foods as a health food, but at some point when the acne is cleared or the inflammation is down, people could have it as a treat every now and again, but we're just saying at the point of clearing up your acne, just don't do it at all. Stick to it 100%.
Well, how often would you guys say you guys deviate and have some oil?
We never cook with oil.
Never.
Maybe we'll have like a wrap with a little bit of oil in it every now and then. Maybe some avocado. That's about as far as we'll go.
Maybe like 2 times a month.
Really not often. And we
Right.
still haven't dived into fatty desserts.
Right. So that leads us to the fourth guideline, which is avoid high-fat plant-based foods. You touched upon it earlier. What are we talking about?
Like peanut butter, soy
milk,
even certain plant milks. What else?
sweet potato fries.
Right.
Yeah.
What about olives?
No
No
olives.
olives. I mean, me and Nina already hate olives, actually. That's a weird thing.
So funny. I can't stand them either.
I hate them.
I
They're
don't
like
like them.
rotten root beer or
I
something.
find them just kind of horrid.
Yeah.
The smell of them, the taste of them.
Ugh,
Yeah.
sure.
Awful.
It's very funny.
Hummus with like
Yeah.
oils,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
What about so you don't do any coconut then?
No, we can have coconut water.
Right.
Although I did have like a few months ago, I was in
Hawaii.
I was like, I'm going to have a coconut ice, like a coconut
Popsicle.
or something. It was
Yeah.
decadent. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not on the diet. Not when you're clearing your
Yeah.
acne.
So no nuts,
No nuts.
no nut butters, no olives. We're not doing avocados.
We eat like heart patients.
Yep.
Mhm.
You truly do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, the parallels are really, really amazing. And then
And it's also kept us like the slimmest
Yeah.
we've ever been.
okay. So I think we're good on the high fatty plant-based foods. I do want to reiterate though, you guys also don't do soy because soy is about 40% fat.
Mhm.
You don't do tempeh.
No.
What about edamame?
No,
I don't even
mean,
do that.
No.
I mean, I've never really been a fan of it, but especially on the diet when people are clearing up the acne, we do not recommend any soy products.
Right. So you're avoiding all the overt fatty plant-based foods and oats. You can knock yourself out with oats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Right.
do oats.
Go ham.
Yeah. The reason I say that is, because oats are about 16 to 18%
Right.
fat, but that falls underneath the threshold. So I think it's important here.
It's not no fat.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not no fat, but it is low fat.
Right.
Yeah.
So according to the American Heart Association, a low fat diet is 30% calories from fat.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys had to make a guesstimation, what percent of your calories are coming from fat?
10%. I
Yeah.
would say it's around 80, 10, 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely not over 10%.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's completely in alignment with my father,
Mm-hmm.
with his patients that are trying to reverse their heart disease. So, people, if you're trying to reverse your heart disease, if you're trying to reverse your acne, if you're trying to reverse your insulin resistance,
Autoimmune.
autoimmune.
Can we get Selena Gomez in the room? Do you know who Selena Gomez is? Big star.
She's a big star.
I think
She dated Justin Bieber.
oh yes, I do know.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now he knows.
Yeah.
But
And-
she has lupus, and she had to get a kidney transplant
Yeah.
for her lupus. And I'm like, gosh, I wish she could hear
and
about
do you
this.
think that could have been prevented?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, well,
Yeah.
I can't say it would
Oh,
be prevented,
well, oops.
Randa.
My bad.
But I think that she would. I mean, seeing how it affected our mom and how she's gone into remission, I think it definitely could help. I
think the
it could
thing
help.
about a lot of diseases and especially dietary caused diseases is that your genetics make you prone to having something.
Our genetics happen to be
Our
acne
prone genetics, but when you eat the right way, that basically won't happen.
Right.
yeah.
Well, I think that's applicable with heart disease, right? When
Mm-hmm.
we have a genetic predisposition,
Yeah.
but if you don't ever consume the products that are going to allow this disease to flourish,
Yeah.
right? Then it's like game
good.
game over. You're
Yeah.
totally good. Okay, so pillar number 5: eat whole foods. That seems pretty
Burritos.
self-explanatory, but what are we talking about?
Whole foods. Are we gonna repeat the same foods?
Well, no, but I mean, we're talking about food as close to grown as possible,
Exactly. So
minimally processed, right?
On the outer skirts of the grocery stores, not the processed crackers and refined foods, packaged foods, but the berries.
Except for Engine 2, buy those.
Well, for sure. Engine 2 raviolis, Clear Skin Diet approved.
Yes.
Love that stuff. But yeah, so minimally processed and
So you want all the fiber intact.
Yes.
You want as much water that should be in there.
I think fiber is key for sure.
Fiber is so crucial.
People are like, where do you get your protein? I'm like, why aren't they asking where you get your fiber? That's so much what people are missing.
Yeah. No, the latest thing I've read is that a astonishing 97% of Americans are deficient in fiber.
That's a whole lot of yikes.
Are they protein deficient too?
Yikes. What do you mean by yikes?
Yikes? You don't know what that means?
No.
Yikes?
Like,
That's like, oh no, that's
like,
not
oh,
good.
that's bad.
Oh, yikes.
Yikes.
Okay. I thought that had to do something with like, you're constipated. It's like, oh.
Well, I mean, that is yikes to be constipated.
Yeah. Now, the last pillar you have is eat simply.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that basically variety is not that important and repetition is good.
Yeah.
What do you mean by all that?
Well,
Because I think this is a huge, important guidepost.
I think there's a big misconception that people need to like eat a totally different meal like every day.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner has
or like
to be
needs
different.
to be like this exotic whatever, but it's like as long as you're eating the whole foods, you're getting like the right nutrients, the right amount of fiber, and that's what's important.
That means don't be afraid if you find something you like and it's healthy and it fits the guidelines, you can eat it every day. If you want beans, rice, and veggies for lunch and dinner, like do it. That's fine.
And for us, it's like,
but it's funny because some people are like, you eat the same thing every day. It's so weird. I mean, we could make it more grand and different,
elaborate.
but we're lazy. Two, it's like if someone loved pizza and they wanted to eat that every meal, you could. But so basically, we're just eating our favorite foods every meal. And but it's not pizza, but it could be.
Yeah. And do you find that you get sick and tired of the food you're eating?
No, every meal is like glorious for me. I do not get sick and tired of it in the slightest.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was here the last time I stayed with you guys, probably 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, I walked into that room that's adjacent to the kitchen and I saw a pile of bananas.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you guys had like a family of monkeys in the back. And then you told me, I think you went to some store and I said, well, how long will it take you to go through this? And I think you said like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. That sounds
and
right.
there must have been 80 bananas.
Yeah. We used to like really be heavy on the bananas. And now I'm more like sweet potatoes.
We eat bananas every day.
I still eat bananas every day, probably like 2 or 3.
2 or 3 bananas a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. What about dried fruits? Are you guys a fan of dried fruits?
We
or not?
love dried fruits
Yes.
because they're like small and calorie dense and easy on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are okay, even though they're calorie rich because they're low fat.
Yeah.
So you're okay with raisins, dates,
For sure.
figs,
Totally fine.
prunes, stuff like that.
I'm
Yeah.
like the dried fruit queen.
No, I love
But I've
dried
never
fruit
had a
as well.
cavity.
That's good.
Wow. Have you?
I have, and
Oh.
it's because I didn't go to the dentist for 2 years, and brush my back teeth because I have a small mouth. But that's great.
Is your mouth smaller than
Her mouth is
Nina's?
smaller than
They
mine.
tell me they're like, you have like the mouth, like your mouth is so young. I'm like, okay, like thanks. I don't know.
Wow.
Love that.
So let's talk. I feel like we've really hit, food nicely. Let's talk for a second about your just like, and I think you touched upon it briefly, but cleansing your face, moisturizers, sunblock,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes. So in a perfect world, it would be great to just be able to wash your face with water, like as natural as possible. But because we live in a world where there are toxins, or you have to wear makeup, or there's pollution, dirt, oil, grease, whatever, you need a face wash to cleanse your face. And we found that it has to be like oil free. There's a lot of acne causing ingredients.
Yeah.
And then when you want to buy a product that's more natural, there's a lot of oils in that. So we found out about this site called EWG, in my Environmental Working Group, and it basically has a bunch of products, and you can you can search your products on the website, and it'll show how toxic it is. Like if
for
it's
your
a 9,
reproductive health,
it's really bad for your reproductive health. It can cause cancer. And so we've kind of freaked out. Oh my gosh, we need to go more natural. But then when we switched to the more natural, it had all these oils in it, and we were getting acne again. So yeah, you want an oil-free face wash that's also low toxicity.
And that is why because we couldn't find what we wanted, that is why we developed our own line called the Clear Skin Program. Can we talk about this
absolutely.
now?
Yeah. No, absolutely. So you guys launched your own skincare line.
So we found that even like shampoo and conditioner, because when you're, especially with people who get body acne, the oils, the chemicals are like getting onto your body or absorbing and
on your
causing
forehead
more acne. So we developed shampoo, conditioner that are all oil free, also no acne causing ingredients, as well as a face wash and a moisturizer, all of the essentials.
Yeah, the stuff that you need the most with
can you
beauty.
repeat that for me one more time? So you got a shampoo, you got a conditioner,
We got a face wash.
a face wash, and does that have like little scrubs things in it?
No, it's very gentle. It's for all skin types from oily to sensitive skin.
Even people with eczema, and then a moisturizer.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like little walnut shells in it.
No, it
because
doesn't.
when you have acne, you don't want to
No.
scratch at it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a wash, and then you have a moisturizer.
Yeah.
So you got 4 products then?
4 products, yeah.
We want more eventually, but these are the stuff we're starting out with.
Exercise is very critical because you're getting rid of the toxins in your body. It's just, I think of exercise as just an essential for good mental health.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with acne, you're feeling self-conscious, all the negative thoughts. So it's like, I would, exercise was a big outlet to get rid of that stress, but I wouldn't even let myself go to the gym because I was so distraught.
Working out should be like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Yeah. How often do you guys work out?
5
days a week.
Well, you guys in your book, you referred to dairy as acne juice.
Yeah.
That is just like, all right. What about smoking?
Ooh.
Because, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, isn't vaping like really in these days?
Yeah.
It is. I think it's for like the younger, the Generation Z.
They're a little younger than
they're
us.
doing the jewels and stuff.
It's gross.
Probably not great for acne.
No.
Definitely not.
I mean, it's not good. Anything that's bad for your health, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I want to be cool.
Any what about any supplementation?
The only thing we supplement is B12.
And the reason we supplement it is because food is so highly washed, and there's a mineral. So B12 can be found in dirt. It's like a bacteria, but it's washed. So anyway, even people who eat meat should take a B12 supplement because a lot of people can be deficient in it.
Maybe on occasion I'll take a zinc, but not just because.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. Everybody in our family's the same way. And like you guys, my kids have been plant-based their whole life. And the only supplements that we all take as a family is our B12.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things you talk about in the book, and you have some quotes in here by a doctor by the name of, I might not be pronouncing this right. Ermina van Dyken.
Yeah.
About the health of the microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the role that the microbiome may play in your,
mental health and acne.
Yes.
For sure.
I mean, to me, again, it's like everything we've been talking about here. But I think the microbiome is something that wasn't even on the scene 4 years ago. And now
everyone's talking about it.
Everybody's talking about how it's like, it's the lost organ.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it controls our cravings. I mean, it's just like.
They've done studies on rats where they take a microbiome of like mice, and they put it in a different mouse.
Yeah.
And it changed the personality. So your microbiome is making your personality as well.
Right. It dictates so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then what's different about our microbiome? Because we have different personalities.
I don't know.
Slightly.
I have more fire in my microbiome.
I have more ice or water. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think something that I think to myself, or something that I thought was because we were taking all of these antibiotics, I feel like it destroyed our gut biome. And I think that's also why
the acne was
the acne
so bad.
would come back worse, even with the way we were eating, because we weren't eating like the worst diet in the world, but I think that's also what escalated the acne to get so bad. And by eating this way, I think that's also what helped restore our gut biome. So now if I have an occasional junk food, not that I do it frequently, but my body's like, okay, we can handle this. But whereas before, it was just completely destroyed.
Well, what's interesting is, we're just learning now that the key to cultivating these healthy bacteria, these Prevotella, it's all about the fiber.
Yeah.
Right? The soluble and the insoluble fibers that only come from whole plants, right? Which is, basically, pillar guideline number 5 in the clear skin diet. It all syncs up. It's beautiful. You wouldn't believe how many people, when I feel it's appropriate, I go up to and I tell them, you guys need to get this book. Like,
oh my gosh,
the clear skin diet. Oh yeah. Right. But literally millions and millions of American adolescents and probably even adults, right? That are suffering from acne can be helped by you guys.
Yeah.
So thanks for being heroes, champions for people eliminating their pimples, their zits, their acne. It's huge. It's huge.
Well, thank you for being such a warm, kind, and amazing person, and for having us here.
Oh yeah. So with that, you guys, let's do our sign off, which is peace. Engine 2, keep it plant strong.
Found it.
Keep it plant strong, baby.
I have known Nina and Randa since they were 12 and up on the stage at their parents' Veg Source conferences, singing and dancing, because they have always been entertainers. And it is just so heartwarming to see how far they've come over the last 13, 14 years with everything that they're doing. I admire them for their courage to seek out a holistic and healthy solution and to look beyond the conventional treatments that have so many dangerous long-term effects. They have definitely been inspired by the likes of Dr. McDougall, Dr. Ornish, Dr. Clapper, my father, Dr. Furman. All these people, I think, have played a role in letting them realize that there are other options besides the traditional medical treatments. And they truly have, as I said earlier, the hearts of a hero, because through their books, their skincare line, and their recently launched podcast that is hilarious and enlightening called Somewhat Relatable, they are on a mission to heal as many people as possible from the inside out. Next week on the Plant Strong podcast, I'm going to introduce you to Nehemiah Delgado, a professional bodybuilder featured in the Game Changers documentary, who has been plant strong since the day he was 1 day old. Now, even if you have zero interest in competing as a bodybuilder, I promise you, his humble story demonstrates that mental fortitude is really the most important strength that a person can have. We can all learn lessons from this gentle man. I hope to see as many of you as possible at our 2020 Summer Plant Stock event, along with Dr. Michael Greger, Dr. Michael Clapper, Brenda Davis, John Mackey, Gene Bauer, Marco Borges, Dr. Neil Barnard, my parents, my sister, and many, many more. Join us August 14th to the 16th for our 9th annual weekend celebration. It is the ultimate blend of deep learning, epic stories, new ideas, hiking, swimming, getting out in nature, plus strategies and tools for accelerating Plant Strong living. Visit campplantstock.com and register today. Thank you for listening and subscribing to our show. I want you to know that we read each and every one of your reviews, and we appreciate each and every one. If you want to learn more about this season or today's guests and sponsors, please visit plantstrongpodcast.com. The Plant Strong podcast team includes Lori Kordowich, Amy Mackey, Patrick Gavin, Wade Clark and Carrie Barrett. I want to thank my parents, Dr. Caldwell B. Esselstyn Jr. and Ann Kryl Esselstyn, for creating a legacy that will be carried on for generations and being willing to go against the current and trudge upstream to the causation. We are all better for it.